Right. So Rima, last time during our conversation about knowledge does not equal competence, we were talking about needs, wants, and desires, and you had questions that you wanted to ask and probably felt that certain things were unanswered. So we promised that we would follow up on it today. So please go ahead and let's, see what it is that you would like to clarify, not only for you, but also for our listeners.
All right. So last time we discussed that knowledge does not equal competence. And we brought up the subject of needs, wants, and desires. What I didn't get exactly is we have needs, desires, and wants, knowledge, and competence. What is the relationship among all five components? And when do we say that I have the knowledge and I am competent too?
Yes, I think this is a very insightful question because we actually didn't answer. And that's what happens when you have assumptions in your head. What is the foundation of motivation? What drives us to do things? We all have basic physiological needs, thirst, hunger, and so on. And those we fulfill because of the physiological discomfort. But when we are motivated to do something, if that need is not supported and amplified by wanting to do something and having a burning desire to do it, which drives the motivation, we don't put into practice what we know. So maybe I can give an example. If I know that I'm supposed not just to eat, but to eat well. However, I have conflicting wants and desires that can get in the way of how I put my knowledge into practice. So, for example, if I want to have approval for being very slim and having a good figure, it might get in the way of my motivation to eat. I may even forget to eat because that is not the primary want and desire. If the desire is significance, and my significance is coming from maintaining a very slim self, I'm not going to spoil that for myself by doing something that will endanger that significance that I cherish and value. Does this make sense to you?
It makes sense. We were discussing an example of nutrition and somebody who has, who feels that they need to eat less to be more significant because this is the way they get their significance. Also, if we are discussing an example from the corporate world, I think that applies. If somebody has a desire to achieve something, so they go and learn and learn and learn. However, um, the motivation to be competent at that specific area is not yet achieved. So I think it's applicable.
Knowing what you have to do could, for example, if you want the approval of your boss, and you know that by doing this particular thing, you're going to get disapproval, even though you know it's wrong, even though you know it's not the right approach, you may not exercise your knowledge.
Mm.
You may not put your knowledge into practice because the reward is not what you want. You want to get a promotion, you want to keep your job, we practice things that matter to us. And the more we practice, the more competent we become. Competence is about putting knowledge into practice. But putting it into practice requires the alignment of need and want and desire. So that inner energy, that drive to do it is, is something that we truly desire. And therefore we have the energy to do it. And we talk a lot about people having mismatches, doing something that they think is the right thing to do, and you have this they perform and then they stop, and then they perform and then they stop, and you have this very erratic performance cycle.
Mm.
They're doing something that they're kind of obliging themselves to do. There's neither want nor desire in it. And therefore, just just doing it because it's something that should be done or must be done is not enough to achieve that level of motivation. So when you hear people talk about a burning desire is an extremely powerful fuel for motivation. And you don't have that burning desire unless the alignment is very strong between needs, wants, and desires. Your values are aligned with it. You want to become, let's say, you want to become wealthy because your concept of status is about being wealthy, about being powerful, about being in control. And you want that. You want to have, the cars or the clothes or the power or the money or whatever it is. And the basic need is there. I mean, need to survive, but there's a difference between needing just to survive, making enough, to cover your basic expenses, and having a burning desire to become extremely wealthy and powerful, because that's, what gives you, that means everything to you. So we
Makes
don't
sense now.
always put our knowledge into practice.
And if we'd love to hear the feedback of those who are watching, and if they have any question around this topic, we'd love you to leave it in the comment section of this video, and we'd be happy to answer.
Absolutely. It's a very complicated subject and it's very wide. It's not just a straightforward thing.